excellent. The program here, so Jeroen is the CDO at iSpark, one of the hosts tonight. So thank you again, Jeroen, for collaborating on all of that. Look, the DBT semantic layer has been out for quite a while. It has undergone some iteration. Let's just say it like that. But I think it's fair to say that we haven't really seen that many clear demos out there about how to implement it in particular different environments. So I'm very excited about the next step, which is Jeroen as CDO. Go how to actually implement the semantic layer in Klipfolio. So quite nuts and bolts. Now demos are always dangerous, so you're very brave.
I'm already starting with a blue screen.
There we go.
Thank you, Thomas. Thank you for your introduction. So that saves me a slide and some time as well, so we can directly go on to the next slide. I'm the Chief Data Officer at iSpark. And at iSpark, we are helping e-commerce companies and SaaS providers getting more value from their data. We're mostly doing this as a data team as a service setup. So we're working on projects for our clients, and we provide services like analytics engineering, what today, data analytics, data architecture, engineering, and science. And today I'm going to talk about the integration of the DBT semantic layer with Klipfolio Powermetrics and why this combination, why this help. So the DBT semantic layer is basically a technical solution which operates or acts as a central repository for metrics. But like I said, it's a technical solution. It's a single source of truth for all kinds of metrics, but it's not really actionable. So in the combination with Powermetrics makes these metrics available for non-technical users, and actually make these metrics also actionable for them. Before we start looking at the semantic layer itself, I'm just curious who is a DBT cloud user? Ooh, 2 hands. Okay, so everybody else is a DBT core user, right? Yeah, okay, cool. So yeah, I have the next question, who has experience with the semantic layer? So everybody using core, so I guess not much. Oh yeah, I have a hand over there. Okay, cool. So you tried it, okay. So yeah, well, for the people don't know yet, DBT Cloud is based on DBT Core. It provides some additional features like an IDE, scheduling, APIs, notification, kinds of other stuff. It enhances collaboration for, again, non-technical users. And yeah, the new feature, as Thomas said, is the semantic layer. There are some downsides because DBT Core is, if I'm right, is a free feature, or free service or open source. And DBT Cloud has some license costs per user. So looking into the semantic layer, like I said, it's the universal solution provided by DBT. As a central repository for metrics. These metrics, when they are in the central repository, can be reused for many kinds of use cases. So you define once a metric, and then you can reuse them in many use cases, and can be maintained by analysts. Again, less. It's coming back more often, and non-technical users. So why do you need this semantic layer? Well, let's take an example. In e-commerce, this is a very common metric, the gross margin, and can be typically is calculated by extracting the cost divided by from the revenue divided by the revenue, and some percentage occur or arises. So in many organizations, we often see that this is decentralized managed. So we got, for example, a sales department who's using the standard calculation. Then we got management, who uses another reporting solution with another calculation of the same metric. And then we got the finance people who love Excel sheets. They are using the same calculation, but are inserting external data from another source not maintained by the DBT solution. So we have multiple departments. We are replicating data into several reporting solutions, and it makes everyone can imagine that this makes it really difficult to maintain from the perspective. So what does the semantic layer do? We define in the semantic layer one metric which can be used in multiple different reporting solutions for multiple departments. So everybody is looking at the same number, has the same understanding of the number. It's easier to maintain, and we don't have to replicate data into the different reporting solutions. So what are these? What does this semantic layer mean in practice? Well, everybody is familiar with regular SQL models. You're all core users, so this is new for you people. So this is the lineage of DBT Cloud. So this is basically the foundation of a semantic layer. So we have those SQL models, and we got some. So we got some new models over here, which is the semantic model itself and a corresponding metric definition. Well, I will not deep dive into the semantic layer itself and how it's configured, etc., because we have limited time. I just want to show you the foundations. So we got this semantic model, which consists out of entities, measures, and dimensions. The entities itself are the primary keys or the keys from the tables you're using. The measures are measurable, and dimensions, that's a common term. And it's important that in DBT Cloud, you can only define one semantic model based on one table. You can't do joins, for example, in a semantic model. So you have to prepare the data upfront, and then you can use that information in your semantic model. The next part is the metric definition, where the same measures are shown again, and where you can define several types of measures. So we got simple measures, which are basically representing number. We got the option to use derived measures, which are, for example, over here, which is a division between two simple metrics. And we got some other ones like ratio and cumulative metrics. So what are the advantages of a semantic layer? Well, it's a predefined standardized logic. It's a centralized repository, can be reused in many use cases, and it enables self-service for analysts. However, there is still a limited set of metric types available, and there are not yet many integrations available. But now the interesting part, there is one, which is Klipfolio Powermetrics. So DBT Semantic Layer and Klipfolio Powermetrics have a native integration with each other. There are other integrations like Tableau and to Excel, but those are still in a beta phase. So this is at this moment I think the only usable solution for using semantic layer. Klipfolio Powermetrics is an easy-to-use all-in-one reporting platform, and it's centralized around the metrics and visualizations. Yeah. So Klipfolio Powermetrics is essentially, I said it before, I think, is a powerful interface for the technical semantic layer, and syncs the metrics from DBT into their own catalog, and can be used by analysts or for as building blocks, and can be used for slicing and dicing insights in Powermetrics itself, so you can easily create insights and dashboards. Yeah, sorry. So as I said, for now it's the only tool designed for the consumption of the metrics by non-technical users, and you can combine information from other data sources as well next to together with or in combination with DBT metrics. That's really interesting. But I would like to show you guys how powerful it really is and how easy it is to use. So I'm now going to switch to the live demo, and that's sorry, I have to point at my laptop. I want to click. So our live demo is around our fictional stroopwafel shop, where we, which is a fictional chain where we sell stroopwafels, and we use that data to for this demo, and we are going to use the example of the gross profit margin earlier in the presentation. We're going to use that one, and we're going to add that one to Klipfolio Powermetrics. And now I have to switch for a bit, and for the online users, that means I have a presentation that share.
Yeah.
Reshare.
The screen.
So a little technical break, sorry guys. No, it's so hopefully this works well. Yeah, now I have to use my laptop, so I have to hide a bit behind the pole. Sorry. So, like I said before, it's not a deep dive into the configuration of the semantic layer itself. I can't show you the semantic layer configuration itself because then I would expose all kinds of credentials, and I don't want to have that end up on the internet. So let's take this for granted. So we have this semantic layer set up in DBT Cloud. So this is the DBT Cloud IDE. We're now looking at a metric definition, but that's well, this is the whole for the shop. We have currently in place the whole lineage of models and the semantic layer models, which are those pink blocks over here. And we have all the metric definitions over here. And as you can see, my colleagues already prepared a branch, main branch, with this new metric, which is over there in the bottom right corner. So that's the gross profit margin, and you can see that this gross profit margin is based on different metrics and different models, and eventually, or in the end, also some tables. So when looking at this semantic model, this is the YAML file. Like I said before, it consists out of entities, dimensions, and measures. So we have defined there are there's a key, which is the entity product. We have 2 dimensions. That's the ordered end date and shop where it was sold. And we have two measures, which are the product cost and the price, and that together form a revenue or a profit margin. So going back to the metrics, then I will scroll down a bit and yeah, it should be. So over here we have this. We have those. Sorry, guys. So we have those measures defined in the model, and then over here we have them defined in the metric YAML as a metric where we can leave a description, we can define which type it is, and where we can do calculations. The metrics, what's defined in the metrics definition is also the metric which ends up in the reporting solution. That's the thing which is shared, published, put to production. So if you go to Powermetrics, we already defined a really nice performance dashboard of our stroke shop with some key figures, key insights, but we're still missing the profit margin because that's really interesting. So we're selling stroke waffles and we want and beverages, and we want to know what our margin is. So we want to add that. We have this defined in DBT, and we want to add this. So we are going back to DBT, and we're going to run a multi job. So now we have to wait a bit. It takes about, if everything goes well, about 30 seconds. This is always the scary part because it's a live demo, and then you just crossing fingers that everything
Might always be an outage or something, someone pushing something.
Yeah. So fortunately, this is not a production environment or a production project. So, yeah, it's there. So it's there. So we have run the main branch. This semantic layer has been published. So we can go over here and Powermetrics. This is the catalog of Powermetrics. So over here you see all the defined metrics, which are already there, and we want to add another one. So we're going to select over here the DBT semantic layer metrics connection window. And over here again, these are the metrics which are already in place, which are being used in the dashboard, but we're still missing some. So now we have to clear the cache, connect again. And this is also a really interesting part of Powermetrics. We can also use webhooks to run or refresh or adding metrics when DBT jobs are finished. We did not right now because we want to show you manually, but that's also an option. So we can continue over here and then nothing happens. But if we refresh the page now, anything that's crossed? Yes, it worked. Fortunately. So as you can see, we have the same range of metrics again, which are the ones which are being used are already visible with the green check mark. And over here you can see we have 3 new ones. So these are the 3 new ones we just put into the from the model, the new semantic model for gross profit margin, the new metrics, those are originating from the metric definition. So we can go over here. So I'm at this moment not really interested in the product cost and the price. I just want to add the gross profit margin. So I can go over here and then go to add metrics. So now I'm adding it to the metric catalog. So it's indicated that it's a new metric, and we can look into it. And then Powermetrics already, based on the dimensions and the measures which are being defined, already comes up with a graph, suggestion for a graph to use. To play around. Now, well, for example, you can see that this period, which is defined in the left top corner, it's a number, a float. Really interesting, but yeah, we're interested in profit margin, and profit margins usually are represented in percentages. So we can go over here. This is, I'm doing something wrong, so that's interesting. Well, let's skip that one. Sorry, I normally I had the option to change the thinking enough.
Maybe you can go to the Explorer and then find the percentage.
Or, oh no, I have to go to settings. Here it is. Sorry. Wrong button. Yeah. So I can change this to the percentage. Yeah, it's a live demo mistakes. And we can also define, for example, we have these dimensions again. So we can also tell, for example, use the shop name as a dimension to see how different shops behave.
Well, so then I have a question.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Yeah, you've got.
yeah, okay. Yeah, we're waiting, so sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I didn't work with the semantic layer. So it's interesting what's behind it. Is it creating views or it's some another layer, you know, so that, and then you're just you see how is it implementing the actual semantic layer. Or creating tables, you know, so it needs some kind of materialization step.
Yeah, you have to define in the product configuration that you want to use the semantic layer, and it's based on metric flow under the hood. And it's already available, so you can already
So let's say if I use BigQuery, right? So
Sorry?
Let's say if I use BigQuery and they have table orders and customers
Yeah.
and so on, right? And then I define some metrics,
Yeah.
right? And semantic layer. Then those metrics will be materialized in BigQuery through the set of tables, or will I see it?
No. We're using BigQuery as well right now in this demo. The data is also residing in BigQuery, and it's a virtual layer. So the metrics itself are not materialized as a view or a table in BigQuery. It's a virtual layer, so the platform with the metrics are being published through the
So that
semantic
will be
layer.
explained to BigQuery, which will be calculating this metric in real time.
Yeah. So it's using the data from BigQuery in the normal SQL models,
Yeah.
and then on top of that, you have this virtual layer, which is called the semantic layer, which calculates this information indeed in real time and pushes this to the.
Just on that. So now when you begin the operation, it's practically went to BigQuery, create BigQuery with formula of semantic layer, or you preserve that metric. So that modified the query, or what's the state of it? Yeah. So
Yeah, I'm not sure. Let's take this
Yeah.
after the presentation. So we over here we have now defined that we are with a dimensional shop name, and we have a shop in Groningen and one in Amsterdam. Yeah, it's well the underlying data is not really spectacular, but it's
Still the same. This is
yeah. And then over here we can say, okay, I want to add it to the existing dashboard. So, and over here we can then say, for example, you see all these kind of chart types over here and styles. And here we can say, okay, I'm not interested in line graph because the dimension time is not that interesting for me. So I'm going to use a stroopwafel chart. So I chose the stroopwafel chart, but still then I think, okay, it's blank, not really interesting. So I have to do something more. So I'm now going to segment it, for example, by, let's take type, for example. So yeah, pie charts I've not done in data analysis and data world. So I thought, okay, let's use stroopwafel chart. Maybe that's fine. Maybe that's permissible. Yes. So then we have this nice chart where we can see by type, which is also defined dimension, the gross profit margin for both stroopwafels and the beverages which are being sold in the store. So that was basically the how easy it was to add a metric from the semantic layer to a dashboard solution. So every analytical user, data analyst, for example, can add these metrics, and they can be reused. So if you have several different departments with different kinds of users, they can add these metrics metrics from the metric catalog from Powermetrics and add them to their own dashboards or their own reporting thingy. Well, we're all looking at the same, and that's really, really powerful. We're all looking at the same definition, at the same number. So there is no debate again anymore between departments or between users, or less debate about, for example, the gross profit margin. So I'm now going to switch back to the other presentation, and then that requires, unfortunately, that we switch. And I've got one slide left. It's still open. Yeah, it's still open. That's nice. Turn up here. Present again. Pick up where we left. So well, stop Photoshop. So wrapping up this demo. Are you gonna? No. Okay. Yes.
There we go.
My mouse. I'm not sure if it works. So our learnings from experimenting with semantic layer in the past few weeks or months is that we do think in combination with Klipfolio Powermetrics is a really powerful solution. Maybe it's even a game changer in the ease of use for data analysts. However, we also experienced some oddities or quirks with semantic models, for example, with SQL expressions in the documentation itself. DBT states that you can use SQL expressions. We have found out you can't, so that's really interesting. But yeah, in the end, it's really easy to set up, it's really easy to use, and it's easy to use for both experienced and non-experienced, or both technical and non-technical users. So yeah,
Thank you.
that's it.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
This is courageous, but it worked.
Yeah, yeah, no,
Extra points from the stroopwafel chart. Look, I think a lot of discussion will have overviews, but maybe one or two quick questions.
Yeah.
I can ask Juan.
You mentioned that there is a limited amount of metric types.
Yeah.
Which ones are you missing?
Oh, that's an interesting question.
Please thought about it.
Yeah. So we have the simple and derived ones. You have the cumulative and the ratios. I don't have an answer by head. Sorry, I'm not sure which one we're quite missing right now.
Maybe some more complex sort of metrics that are not aggregate or not symmetric aggregate, that sort of stuff. It's all,
Yeah, aggregate things like aggregates are okay. Let me explain this a little bit. So you have these 4 types, but within those types, you've got some options as well. For example, the derived ones, you have some aggregations, so like some aggregates and that kind of stuff. But are still they're still missing a few. But sorry, I can't think up any example at this moment.
for those of you Looker users,
Yeah.
some distinct is not
No.
which is probably good. Good.
Can you hide metrics? Because if you're using derived metrics, some of these I might not want to show because they're only used as a derived metric for my son. So can I choose not to publish them, which makes them, or should I then?
No, I don't think so. No. It's and that's because it's still in an early phase and it's not really a complete. How do you say this? It's not there yet. So we're also early adapters, and we've played around in our own shop with our own data, but not used it in production environment yet. So we're still learning as well. So we haven't discovered all the possibilities of the semantic layer. So we're hopefully soon we'll have some real life use cases and real life clients where you can put this in practice and then see what we.
I've got a follow-up question on that, which is that does this also allow you to run different environments all the way throughout your production stack? As in, for instance, if you're sort of planning to change your gross profit margin definition, are you able to say, look, we're going to plan it in a QA branch, and then we're going to check all of the dashboards and all the reporting that's downstream for there, and so on, so on, which is not possible right now if you have got different systems set up because they don't sit on the same Git branch. But because you've got this metric layer in your Git branches code, you can, in theory, I think, have different metrics in different branches of your project, and therefore run better CI/CD and so on on top of that.
Yeah, that's possible, but you have to define. One. No, I don't think it's possible. It's like you have to define the semantic layer on project level, and then you have to choose which environment you want to use for the semantic layer for. So you can't have multiple inputs over there.
That's a Klipfolio configuration.
No, that's the DBT configuration itself. So it's on project level. They define which environment you want to use for the semantic layer, and that can only be one. So there is no possibility to say, like you said, we want to have the QA and dev and production environments using a semantic layer over there. And next to that, at this moment, Klipfolio Powermetrics is also only using the main branch from a production environment. Yeah.
My fingers crossed.
Yeah. Maybe that will follow in the future.
Very fun. Yeah.
You mentioned Snapchat is that referring to using the metrics and also managing them?
Both. Well, we can ask my colleagues are over there, the analytics engineers and data analysts, so they can tell you everything about it afterwards.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
Excellent. You don't think it's something?
Yeah.
Then you go straight into Ricardo's talk. So Ricardo, if you want to